Hello and welcome to this very basic course of geometry. You can call it as a refresher course or whatever the way you want to name it. We would be dealing more about the types of angles and their meaning. As you have already seen that I have written down what is a straight angle, right angle, acute, obtuse and reflex angle. Well, when we will be talking about what we mean by meaning, you will come to know a little bit more about that. But right at this moment, let us consider a straight line. If we draw it in this way, let me name it as OA. Well, this is a straight line. And if we are taking a complete rotation of this angle, right from here it starts and it goes on rotating for a complete kind of a cycle, call it in this way, then we know that what we get over here is a 360 degrees angle, right? If we make a complete rotation. And that is what we already know what is a straight angle. Well, a straight angle is something which is absolutely straight, which is quite clear from the definition. And if it is this, we can call it as a straight angle because the degree is 180 degrees, which is half of the rotation. The full rotation is 360 and this part is 180 degrees. Now let us draw a graph which will help us to clear the concepts of the other angles. So let me just draw it in this way. We draw it like this, right? And what we get from this graph, it is quite evident that we know what is a right angle, this part. So we call it as right angle, and this is a right angle where the angle is denoted not by this. This is a general convention of denoting an angle, but what we will do is that we will denote by this, and this is 90 degrees. So this is a right angle, this one straight up, and it is denoted by this, not by the convention of this. Now what we will do is that we will divide this region. Let us see, these are the Cartesian coordinates and we are dividing this region 1, 2 and 3. So anything which is coming in this region, anything which is coming in this part of the region, we call it as acute angle. We call it as acute angle. So anything between 0 to 90 degrees, this is the origin, and 0 to 90 degrees, this part is called an acute angle, anything between 0 to 90. And if we consider this part, the other part, this part, so if I draw an angle right from here, right, so this is the part which we call as obtuse angle. We call it as obtuse angle. There is the reason we call by this name, which we will come later part of the video, and this is between 90 to 180 degrees. So 0 to 90 is this, 90 to 180 degrees is this. Now let us come to the final and this part. This part, if we draw a line, this is called reflex angle. This part, this is a reflex angle. So reflex angle is something, so let me write it. This is reflex angle. And reflex angle is something which is more than 180 degrees, which is more than 180 degrees, because here it is 180 degrees. Slowly this part is rotating. So from here, if you start rotating, so this is more than 180 degrees, but obviously it has to be less than 360 degrees. It has to be less than 360 degrees. Because 360 degrees would be complete rotation, and this is called a reflex angle. So, so far so good. We have understood what is a reflex angle and what are the other names of the angles. So we know what is a straight angle, a right angle, which is 90 degrees, and it is denoted by this, acute angle, obtuse angle, 90 to 180 degrees, and reflex angle. So we have covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice and fine. Now what I will show you is a little bit interesting. What are the reasons for naming them as so? So now let us consider, for example, let us start with right angle. Let us start with right angle. Now this word right actually comes from the Latin word. The origin is Latin, and the angle, which is in Latin we call them as angulus rectus. Okay, it might sound a little bit odd, because that is the perfect Latin pronunciation. So angulus rectus is actually a Latin origin. Angulus rectus actually means angle. It means angle. Now this word, say for example, which is familiar in English, rectus, or for example if I write erectus, it is not erectus, right? Rectus and erectus. So you can write it for your convenience as rectus or erectus. Okay, actually rectus and erectus, all of this means upright, straight, right? As we call stand erect, or the boy is standing on an erect building. So because it is erect, so that is why the word right angle is coming. And see, this is erect, right? And we denoted this 90 degrees. So this is the reason why we call it as right angle, and it is originating from the Latin word rectus or erectus. All of them means right angle. Now let us come to the second part, which is called the acute angle. It is called acute angle, and why it is called so, right? Now acute, actually from English, you know what it means. It means sharp. Okay, so we have got an acute pain, we have got a acute nervousness, something like that. So it actually means sharp, and this is also coming from the Latin word acri or acutus. Acutus. It is not acutus, it is acutus. All of them is coming from the Latin version. So it means actually sharp. And you see, when we are drawing a graph, this part which we know is the acute part, this is a little bit sharp. You see the line which is being drawn, this is little bit sharp. So that is what we call the word acutus, which means sharp. That means it's not blunt. Now comes the exactly opposite one. You see, it is called obtuse angle. It is called obtuse angle. The word obtuse actually means dull. Okay, the word obtuse means dull, and this is coming from the Latin word which we will pronounce it as, this is pronounced as ubetusus. You can write it ubetusus. So ubetusus actually means dull, that is opposite, that means which is not sharp. That means if I draw a graph over here, let me draw it in this way. So if this part is considered to be a sharp one, when it is going back, obviously this part would be a dull one. So that is why this part is called obtuse angle, which is 90 to 180 degrees. This part is a sharper one, right? So this is acute, this is obtuse. So you see how the significance is acutus, acute, obtuse, ubetusus, dull, erectus or erectus, rectus or erectus means the straight one. Now we come to the final part, which is called the reflex angle. We call it as reflex angle. In general, in English, when we are writing these things, say for example reflex, what it actually means, it means reflection. I understand, obviously. So when we are drawing this one, say for example, again we are drawing a graph. This part is the sharper one, this part is the dull one, this is the erectus or the straight one. But this is what? Actually it is a reflection. Actually, this is a reflection. And it also means to bend. This means to bend. Right? So reflex actually comes from this word reflexus again. Reflexus, which actually means to bend. Now you see that the meanings actually are derived from Latin words, and they actually carry a kind of a it's kind of a relevance. So if I take this line from here, and this is coming, you see, and now it is bending. So in this area it is bending, isn't it? So that is why it means reflexus means to bend, and isn't it, it is bending. And you will also see in further physics that when we will be learning about reflection and refraction, when the light beam falls within a medium, it bends and it changes its velocity in water. It is bending. It is bending of the light rays. So far this has been the main target of the video. I try to show you in simple words what is straight, right, acute and obtuse angle. So this zone would be the acute zone. This is the obtuse part. This is the right angle. This is the straight angle. And this is the reflex angle. The significance, right angle, derived from this Latin word rectus or erectus, which means straight, and that is why it is called right. We can just see this symbol and we can understand this is a symbol of right angle, is 90 degrees. Acute, which is from 90 to 180 degrees, it means sharp. Acri or acutus actually means sharp. Obtuse is just the opposite of sharp, that is a dull one. The Latin word is ubetusus. So if this is sharp, this is dull. And finally the reflex angle, it means reflexus, that is to bend, and you see how the rays are bending. So this is basically a video which I thought to make you understand, because we are all reading these lines: straight, acute, reflex and obtuse angle. But what about the origins? So today we learnt about the origins, and we know in the upcoming geometry videos we would be learning more about angles, transverse, straight, parallel lines, interior, alternative interior, vertical, opposite and other kind of angles, which I would be making in another video. Geometry is the essence. Without geometry we cannot proceed with physics. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned certain new things. Keep on watching to have more ideas and more new innovations which I'm trying to bring in my video. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay happy and have a nice day.